Hey, Fat Joe, this is the Spanish version. Sigo subiendo y no voy a parar. No voy a parar. No voy a parar. No voy a parar. Sigo subiendo.
Staying true to being fair and balanced, unlike other news networks, we're gonna look at Arthur Acevedo, since I criticized him in the Michael Bennett case that I just did not too long ago. We are claiming fair use. That still doesn't mean this is not hard-hitting journalists. Just like how homeboy's getting jumped right here.
Alright, what's going on, y'all? Y'all know I've been doing this on Michael Bennett, you know, his social lynching. So I wanted to take a look into Arthur Acevedo, the police chief over there in Houston. He's only been there 6 months, so he hasn't even been there. He wasn't even the chief at the time of Bennett's arrest, right? So we're gonna just sit here and take a look at an article that's done on him. There's a few interesting key points here. He's a hard guy to read. He almost seems a little bit opportunistic, which, you know, anybody who works somewhere is looking for, you know, opportunity for advancement and stuff. There's nothing wrong with that, but when it comes to like policing people's lives and, you know, like the arrest of Bennett and stuff like that, then it starts to become a question. You can't treat being a police officer, or especially being in charge of a police department, like it's, you know, you're working in the mailroom at a company and you're trying to get into a desk job or something like that. So we just want to look at a few things. Hold on, let me just make my thing a little smaller. Now, this is from mystatesman.com or whatever. It says police chief Arthur Acevedo built resume, community ties in Austin. So prior to being the police chief of Houston, which is the largest city in Texas, he was the police chief in the capital of Texas, Austin, you know, which I've been to. It's not too far from San Antonio, which I lived in for about a year when I was in the Air Force. So I know this area pretty well. I've been through Houston. I haven't really stayed there too long, you know, but I'm fairly familiar with Texas, you know. So they say, you know, he had a good, decent legacy with the black community there. There was a lot of turmoil with between the police department and the community there. So let's see this little video right here from his website.
Well, I've decided to stay here in Austin. I contacted my boss, Mark Ott. I told him that my heart was telling me to stay, which is what I knew from day one. I always had the faith that I knew I'd end up where I was supposed to be, and, you know, that didn't matter. And then I called up Mary. We came here, there was a lot of conflict. Kevin Brown has just been killed by Mike Olson. He came in and took the bull by the horn, so to say. Mike Olson was terminated. First time that a white officer had been terminated for killing a black man. And I think in Austin's history, that gave folks a lot of confidence. But then you had the, of course, the Nate Sanders Jr. case, which was terrible. And that kind of set things back. And since that time, every 2 years or so, there's been major shootings here that sort of frayed people's nerves and affected our confidence in the system. Stop right there, man. Stop right there. Stop.
God damn.
But I think Acevedo came here with a certain amount of energy, enthusiasm, and he encouraged folks to work together. He came out and met people who were
naked team.
and shook hands and said, look, let's address this together. I think his legacy would probably be one of direct community outreach, but that's not good enough. Right now, folks want more. They want to cease to these police shootings. They want more officers held accountable when they do things like violate people's rights. And they haven't done that. He's done his very best, but I think it's an issue with the system. I think the next guy would be more focused on the organization more so than community building. Acevedo was a communicator, and that was great. I think now the era is different. We need discipline. and folks will hold officers accountable. There are many guys in this area who I think would be good at rebuilding inside out, saying, look, here are our standards. This is how you treat your people. And making sure that people know we're not going to tolerate any kind of official repression or police brutality, and it has to be enforced from police chief up.
Okay, it's interesting. Number one, also police should be like ashamed of themselves. You shoot a naked teenager and you shot another unarmed kid. It breaks my heart to hear a kid screaming as he's dying and shit, but it has nothing to do with Acevedo. That's those dumbass cops. So that paints a picture. So it'd be hard. It'd be kind of hard to kind of paint him as being a racist right there. So we can't use that statement. You can still be kind of cooning. Remember I coined the L cooning, but you can still be cooning though. It says he arrived in Austin as police chief in 2007, and it was a time of deep turmoil between officers and the minority community. He had no experience leading a municipal police department, but promised that easing strained relations would become a cornerstone of his tenure. And as you heard from the NAACP president there, it seemed like he's done as much as he could do. I mean, you know, there's only so much you can do as a police chief. You can't, you know, control the cops, but you can send a message by firing incompetent cops, which he has done. So he seems to care that much, you know. Now it says something had doubt about him, pointing to his controversial exit from the California Highway Patrol. So he was chipped. So he was basically Eric Estrada, where he worked for 2 decades, and you know, that's a long time. But then city manager Toby Futel declared Acevedo the right choice at the right time for the police department and for our community. All right, and you know, he did 9 years, so the community agrees with her. Now he announced that his time will also be ending after accepting a job in Houston, where he'll lead the nation's 5th largest police department with a force of 5,000 officers. That's a big police department for someone to lead. You know, coming from he did 9 years in Austin. Austin's a fairly smaller city. You know, I don't know the exact population of Austin, but it's probably less than. I know Houston has like almost 2 million people in there. Austin probably has about around maybe 250,000, if not maybe a half. It's probably 250,000 to 500,000 residents there, so it's way smaller. This police department probably had less than 1,000 cops on it. I know that for damn sure. For a city of that size. You know, collectively we have pursued excellence for the Austin Police Department. As Acevedo said, I believe time is right for me to take on the opportunity to lead the men and women of the Houston Police Department and serve people of Houston. All right. So, you know, like I said, the mayor of Austin said that his loss is the department is going to be a loss for the city, and that Houston's getting a world-class police chief. You know, okay, so he's, you know, a lot of people backing him and stuff like that. Not clear who's going to, you know, replace him there. Again, during his tenure, he built a resume by accepting national appointments in law enforcement groups and the U.S. Justice Department when guiding the Austin Police Department through numerous challenges, including several high-profile police shootings. All right, he became a local celebrity, appearing in the media, participating in parades and marches, and posing for selfies, which the police chiefs typically do because it's a political job, all right? With residents of coffee shops, nearly everywhere he went, he regularly engages with the public on Twitter and Facebook. Okay, so he's a pretty hands-on guy. Acevedo also demonstrate to his force of nearly 2,000 his love of policing and understanding the struggles officers face on the street. So, okay, there's 2,000 cops in there, so maybe the city's a little bit larger. Or maybe they just have an abundance of cops. Sometimes even smaller towns will have, you know, like way more cops than, you know, they need. And I've been through Austin, it doesn't seem like they need 2,000 cops in here, but, you know, whatever. He routinely suited up in his uniform, walking patrol beats downtown and pulling drivers over for speeding or drunken driving. All right. But at times, what critics view as his desire for popularity was seen as a distraction that overshadowed his commitment to officers, that he put his own career above standing with them. the general consensus among cops is that the most dangerous place in town was between Acevedo and the camera. As Wayne Vincent, a retired officer and former president of the police union, I think it's fair to say that a lot of officers thought he seemed to be more interested in having press conferences about him than were necessary for the operation of the police department. Okay, so he's a little bit of a ham, all right? I told you before, it's not the first time I seen this dude, like on TV and crap. So he likes that attention, that press attention or whatever. It's a little bit interesting, now you're at Houston, it's a bigger city than Austin. You're gonna probably be on TV a lot more and maybe get a little bit more national press. As I said, his name and his look, I've seen him before, so obviously something happened in Austin that garnered national attention that had him brought to my eye. Being that I was living in New York, now living in Arizona, but that for me to see him in New York on TV. Okay, it says that the tension was evident after Acevedo stood with members from groups such as Black Lives Matter 4 days after the police shooting in February, questioning the officer's actions. At that time, some speculated that his move was a ploy by Acevedo to show prospective employers recruited in Houston his willingness to work with the minority community. I mean, his track record from with the NAACP president said there seems like he's not, a biased, racist guy or whatever, but like I said, it could be a ploy, but I've seen police chiefs do far less and still make it. Truth be told, that's not the best kind of resume, especially if you're trying to be a police chief in a city in the South or whatever, to be like, stand up with the Black Lives Matter or whatever and crap. So, it goes both ways. Just interesting. Alright. Acevedo also has irksome in Austin who sometimes felt betrayed by what they viewed as Acevedo's thirst for the next big job. A fear that he was merely using Austin to punch his ticket on a fast-track professional ascent. He had openly flirted opportunities in other major cities, Dallas, Fort Worth, and San Antonio. Again, you can go along with that narrative. It's always a possibility. It's a good possibility. It is a good possibility. At the same time, a lot of these police chiefs go move around and stuff. So Austin, don't have your butt hurt too much because, I've seen police chiefs go and move up the line too. They usually, don't just stay 20 years as police chief in a town and stuff like that. It's very political, in a politicized job. And as soon as the police department starts effing up really badly and you don't have control over them, politicians will be very quick to get your ass out of it. All the while, Austin's crime rate has remained relatively low, even as the city has seen explosive population growth during his tenure. A fact Acevedo frequently touts when speaking to civic groups. All right, this is interesting too. From whistleblower to chief, when he left his native California, so he's from Cali, Acevedo had filed retaliation complaints against the highway patrol bosses, claiming that they tried to derail his efforts to become that agency's top leader. He called attention to a practice there that let some officers work past the mandatory retirement age to receive a pension boost, and Acevedo later won a $1 million whistleblower settlement. So wow, Now this right here, this could be anything. Some people complain when they, he could have used the old, they didn't want me to be, what the hell? Hold on. He could use the old, they derailed me because of, they want to see a Mexican be the chief or whatever and crap or whatever, But I would have to dig deeper into that, and I probably will in a little. Some leaders at the time, expressed hesitation in hiring Acevedo concerning that he was too much of a lightning rod and a magnet for controversy. Understandable, he came from the Department of Public Safety And most of the time, cities are looking for someone with municipal experience, said former assistant city manager Michael McDonald. What set Art apart was that though he was from the Department of Public Safety, a lot of his experience was working in East LA, so he had experience with dealing with urban areas. The reports we got back is that he was very involved in working with the community. But Austin gave him a new home and a new start, a career reboot he readily embraced. Well, after you sued the highway patrol, I'm pretty sure you had to get your ass out of California. So yeah, all right. During his time here, the police department experienced rapid change internally and inconsistent community relations. Moments of goodwill between community and police are often undone by questionable use of force incidents. And one of his biggest and immediate goals is to promote transparency within the department, and he quickly erased a requirement that only a few officers could address the media or answer public inquiries. Instead, he empowered supervisors to do so, and Acevedo often gave his own cell phone number to reporters in town. Again, a little bit of a ham, but okay, like I said, I'd rather, you be that open than, to be like one of those, don't want to talk to nobody with no comment chiefs or whatever. He also tried to be visible, responding in his trademark black SUV with tinted windows to nearly every police shooting, and addressed the media himself within the first hour or so, rather than assigning an assistant chief or staff member to do it. Okay, like I said, he likes to be in charge of the narrative. You have to say that he's been effective in terms of community relations, getting involved, said Nelson Linder, the guy we just seen up there, of the Boston branch of the NAACP. He gets to say that basically for that, he did outreach, and then he got buy-in. Acevedo also worked to institute a strong system of accountability for officers, particularly those who use excessive force within the first 4 months. He fired Sergeant Michael Olson in the shooting of Kevin Alexander Brown outside the East Austin nightclub, and took issue with the officer's actions in a blistering disciplinary memo. In a move that sparked backlash amongst rank and file, he became one of the first chiefs to bypass officers' promotion under a rarely used provision of state civil service law. These efforts received widespread public support, but the shootings of several African Americans caused some question whether Acevedo was effectively leading, and the shootings undid some of the community report. See, this is the problem with the majority population tool, especially when it comes to cops. And I'm gonna say this, without even really caring, because I know this personally, all right? And I don't give a fuck what anybody says. The police departments around America, the non-melanated majority population who work for these guys, a lot of these guys, and it's not all of them, because there's a lot of very good cops of all races, and there's a lot of bad cops that are black and Latino too, so let's keep it funky. But they think they're a gang, that's doing good, and they think they're they're cowboys patrolling for wild savages and Indians and all of that, right? So those guys, they have this bond too, this blue blood bond, all right? So if they feel like they have a chief or if you're a cop and you snitch on another cop, that's the worst thing you could do. You probably end up being dead. Most likely you will end up being dead if you don't get out that apartment and get far away from that damn town. That's why Acevedo's not in California anymore, because he snitched on the Chips department, the highway patrol. So whenever you go against, officers, especially the majority population officers, they're going to do some retaliation. And unfortunately, it was taken out on black people. So while he was getting a good relationship with the black community, and trying to restore tensions, those guys don't give a fuck at all, because they're usually not disciplined and crap. So what they did was they started doing a whole bunch of shooting the black people. We always on the blunt of everybody else's fucking crap. But these 2 kids lost their lives or whatever, probably as a result of that, and probably countless others, just to embarrass him and make him look bad. Some people had to die, and that's fucking life. So basically, he shot and killed 17-year-old North team David Joseph in North Austin. After Joseph charged Freeman, who said he fired because he feared Joseph would overpower him. If you're a cop and you can't take down a 17-year-old kid, shut up, man. Like, when it comes to this, I'm just scared of being forth. Then you shouldn't be a goddamn cop, then. All right. Like, what kind of pussy take? You don't need pussy cops. All right. If you can't take down somebody, you scared that you're gonna and you use excessive force. Get the fuck off the force, you pussy. All right. Ain't nobody buys that shit. Nobody buys that shit. All of a sudden, the cops are so fucking scared. They're not scared when they talking shit to you in front of your face. I've never had a cop in front of my face act, talk to me like they scared of me. Because then they would talk to me like a man, like they respect me and shit. Nah, they talk to you like you should be in fear of them. But then when they fuck up, they want to play victim. It's the saddest fucking shit in the goddamn world. All right, so you just wanted to embarrass the dude. All right, so we're gonna continue and go on this journey, seeing what's the deal with Acevedo. Okay, we're gonna continue. I might have lost it at this time. This is an article about Acevedo when he was with Chips, California Highway Patrol. All right, and this is a redacted statement. I called him Mexican. He's actually of Cuban descent. His parents left. They fled Cuba in the 1960s from the Castro regime. Being of Caribbean Hispanic origin myself, my bad. So let's see, Sacramento, the top candidate to replace retiring California Highway Patrol Commissioner DO Spike Helmick, if that's not like some really scary cop name, Spike Helmick. Anyway, has been investigated recently for allegedly showing nude photographs of fellow CHP officer to other high-ranking officers while on duty. Sorry, a little tired. Assistant Chief Arthur Acevedo is the subject of a $5 million civil claim involving the woman with whom he allegedly had an affair in 1995. Wait, hold on, let me read this again. Top candidate to replace hiring California Highway Patrol Commissioner Spike Helmick has been investigated recently for allegedly showing nude photographs of a fellow CHP officer to American officials. Okay, that's the system. Okay. Acevedo said the probe is an attempt to derail his chances to become the CHP top officer. He accused Helmick of disclosing the details, a charge that Helmick denied. Claims filed with 3 state agencies allege that Acevedo kept sexually explicit Polaroid photographs of the woman in a glove box of a state-issued car and showed them to other supervisors after the affair ended. Damn, man. But yeah, that was pretty fucking stupid, though. He was an internal affairs sergeant at the time of the affair, but now oversees the Los Angeles area as one of 4 assistant chiefs. CHP spokesman declined to comment on what they said was a personal matter. Acevedo's attorney, in a letter to CHP, General Counsel this week determined that Helmick dismantling defamatory information which was obtained during a confidential CHP investigation, which appears to be an attempt on the part of Commissioner Helmick to interfere with Assistant Chief Acevedo's intent to seek appointment. Okay, so basically, from getting that from this is that Acevedo wanted to become the assistant chief, and also this guy is like, putting out these photographs. I don't know how he got his hands on them. It's kind of crazy though. Acevedo told Sacramento B. I'm sorry, it's because the words is kind of similar on this. He did not display the photos, and Helmick said he has stayed out of the process to choose his successor. I sincerely apologize. I might have to make this font a little bit bigger. I do wear glasses, but I don't like the way they look on camera. The harassment claims, say the woman, is a 36-year-old officer from Southern California who had a 6 to 7 month affair with Acevedo. She says she posed for the photographs that Acevedo suggested, but didn't learn that they had been shown to anyone until she was approached by 2 CHP Internal Affairs investigators in March 17th. So he kind of screwed his own chances up with this one, man. I mean, you cheated on your wife and you was dumb enough to take these stupid pictures you kept in the car, and then, you know, it seemed like somebody would have a debt against you. I mean, you should have known better than that, bro. Alright. The woman who has since married another CHP officer and has 2 children says she cannot return to work because rumors and the potential damage to Acevedo's promotion have created a sexually hostile work environment. She has been granted a state disability claim on the grounds that she suffered a stress injury because she was victimized in a high-profile sexual harassment investigation. The Department of Fair Employment and Housing has issued the woman a right to sue letter, says Director Jacqueline Wagner. It's like fucking high school, man. Dudes passing around pictures and shit. It's kind of funny. So he kind of screwed himself up with that one. You know what I'm saying? He had no one to blame but himself for that. So this dude, you know, you give him the benefit of the doubt because, you know, being a guy, I know we do stupid shit, so I can't really, like, you know, I'm just laughing at this shit because it's like, it just shows you, man, like, oh man. So we'll continue, but, you know, that's a little part of why he left California. You can see why these other departments might have been a little hesitant to hire him and stuff, you know, not that he's a little bit of a risk. Okay, this is him in Austin. Going back to Austin again. The police chief has had enough of how his cops treat people of color. It's October 21st, 2016. At least 206 African Americans have been shot and killed by police this year. It's a goddamn shame. With some cases like those of Philando Castile and Keith Lamont Scott, triggering protests among those calling for more restraint policing and accountability. At least one police chief is joining those ranks, fed up with his own department's treatment of people of color. In a leaked tape of a private August meeting with his commanders, Austin Police Chief Arthur Acevedo laid the responsibility for better policing squarely at their feet, telling them that the problem ain't the cops, the problem is leadership. An unarmed naked teenager we seen in the video had been fatally shot by one of his officers earlier this year. The news outlets just published a video of a school teacher being violently arrested in June the year prior. I think I still have that video. I might have to check that video out. Hold on. But some of the officers in his department have questioned Acevedo's actions and firing disciplining cops involved in each incident. He couldn't understand it. He told his commanders at August 10th meeting. He told the Austin American Statesman, if you can't handle a kid in broad daylight, naked, your first instinct is to come out with your gun. Then your next instinct is to shoot the kid dead. You don't need to be a cop, which is exactly what I fucking said earlier. He vented, I don't give a shit how nice you are. I respect that because it's exactly the same that I said. He spoke similarly about the officer who have dragged the 26-year-old teacher, Brian. My Aboriginal people, can we have fucking normal names? I don't even. You out of her car during a traffic stop. And it's bad when another black person, like, I ain't grow up in the hood and shit and ghetto names and shit. I can't pronounce your name. Brian. I don't even. And you're female too. I don't know if that's a female or dude's name. That was such an easy stop to de-escalate. I think I've had that video. The dude was a dickhead. If I can find the video in my archives, I'll play it right next. Okay, so like I said, yo, I kind of paint this guy like I don't, you know, maybe jumped the gun too early and stuff like that. I still think the charges against Michael Bennett is fictitious at all. I don't know what the hell's going on. Somebody's pressuring Acevedo to prosecute this dude or whatever, or he needs some kind of attention, whatever. I think this might get it, but this man, this career. I'm gonna tell you right now, Acevedo, if this thing goes through and shit like that, you're gonna have a lot of bad rap. And a lot of the community outreach you have done with the black community and your own community, well, you're Hispanic, but you're not Mexican, you know, but, you know, you kind of want to group everybody together and shit. But the minority community, all in all, you're going to have a bad time because this looks like grandstanding, and it looks like somebody's pressuring you into doing this shit. And it's probably because of the Las Vegas Police Department and stuff. Because it makes no sense. It just seems like two different guys. The guy in the press conference the other day doesn't seem like he would be the same guy to be up here making these statements and stuff. So it was a little perplexing. So I don't know if somebody got him by the balls or whatever. But I can't squarely, from my investigation into this at this moment right now, I can't squarely call him a racist or anything or you know. But something is a little bit of cooning going on here. Alright, and him being of Cuban descent, he has black, you know, well, Aborigine, but black, as in what we know as black, in his skin, I mean, in his family, probably very close. You know, I've seen pictures of him younger, and his hair, you know, it's a little less straight than it is now. You dig you dig what I'm saying and stuff, you know, so, interesting. So I can see what that is. Being from the Caribbean, you know, I can see him taking up for those of us who are, you know, considered to be black people here or whatever. So, you know, you got one hell of a white wife, but you know, just each his own, man. You know, you got a beautiful family though. So I can't peg this guy as being necessarily racist. Maybe opportunist, yes. Maybe a little bit of a ham, yes, but I can't say that he's racist. I can kind of say that he might be cooning a little bit in opportunity. So let's continue. What's up? Continuing this investigation on Acevedo. We're right here for Los Angeles Times. So they're gonna get the credit for this. Los Angeles Times. This is. From July 9th, 2004. This also comes from the Associated Press. Crow Clouds, CHP, that's California Highway Patrol official. Assistant Chief who seeks top posts is accused of showing nude photos of the fellow officers to other officers on duty. Alright, I guess this is going to go into the character of allegedly the character of Acevedo. Remember, I'm trying to hit all angles or whatever, so you can see what kind of person this is. Jesus Christ. Right? So, it says Sacramento, a top candidate to replace retiring California Highway Patrol Commissioner Dio, I guess did something Officer Spike Helmick. Man, that's a freaking Germanic ass cop name if I ever heard one. So Dio Spike Helmick. They don't even put his real name. Just Spike Helmick, right? Has been investigated recently for allegedly showing nude photographs of a fellow CHP officer to other high-ranking officers while on duty. Assistant Chief Arthur Acevedo is the subject of a $5 million civil claim involving the woman whom he allegedly had an affair with in 1995. So he had an affair with this, I guess, a woman officer there. Acevedo said the probe is an attempt to derail his chances to become the CA. I'm just call it Chief, yo. To become the Chief's top officer. He accused Helmick of disclosing the details of the charge that Helmick did not. Claims filed with 3 state agencies allege that Acevedo kept sexually explicit Polaroid photographs of the woman in the glove box of his state-issued car and showed it to other supervisors after the affair ended. Damn, homie. Man, you too old for that, bro. But yo, Ben will be Ben, man. He was an internal affairs sergeant at the time of the affair, and he was the IA man. But now oversees the Los Angeles area as one of 4 assistant chiefs. Chip spokesman declined to comment on what they said was a personal matter. Pardon me, man. A little bit tired. Had a long night. Acevedo, attorney, in a letter to Chip General Counsel this week, demanded that Helmick stop disseminating defamatory information which was obtained during a confidential Chip investigation, which appeared to be an attempt on the part of Commissioner Helmick to interfere with Assistant Chief Acevedo's intent to seek appointment. Acevedo told Sacramento Bee that he did not display the photos, and Helmick said he stayed out of the process to choose a successor. The harassment claim said the woman is a 36-year-old officer from Southern California who had a 6 or 7-month affair with Acevedo. She said she posed for the photographs that Acevedo suggested, but didn't learn they had been shown to anyone until she was approached by 2 internal affair investigators March 17. This is probably all in 2004. The woman, a 13-year department veteran, says in one claim that she was absolutely horrified and humiliated when she found out. I feel my reputation has been irreparably tarnished and my career as a CHIP officer is essentially over. 2 CHP captains allegedly had said Acevedo showed them the pictures, including one in which the woman is performing a sexual act on them. Wow, bro. Wow. Oh man, yo, you a douche. You a dickhead, man. Damn. Come on, bro. You don't show it. You show them to like your closest homie. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't just show them pictures to anybody. You don't just go, oh, look, so and so. You know, like look what she was doing to me. You can't try, especially in the police department as a minority, as a Cubano, as a Hispanic. You know what I'm saying? You don't do that, yo. You don't do that. The woman who has since married another CHIP officer and has 2 children says she could not return to work because the rumors and the potential damage to Acevedo's promotion has created a sexually hostile work environment. She has been granted a state disability claim. Only Blanquitos, man, can get a claim like that. That she suffered a stress injury because she was victimized in a high-profile sexual harassment investigation. The Department of Fair Employment and Housing issued the woman a right to sue letter, said Director Jacqueline, alright, and the woman's attorney Craig Ackerman sent a letter in April to the CHIP Acevedo and Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger seeking $5 million in damages. All of California would undoubtedly find Assistant Chief Acevedo and the CHIP conduct in this matter utterly appalling, Ackerman wrote. To make matters worse, CHIP has to date taken no disciplinary action against Acevedo. Ackerman letter continued. Instead of CHIP immediately terminating his employment for, among other things, egregious violations of its sexual harassment policy, the governor office is apparently still considering his promotion to commissioner. Ackerman said the CHIP rejected his settlement offer. The State Board of Patrol also has rejected the woman's $5 million claim, a prerequisite to filing a lawsuit against the state. Though no suit has been filed yet, she also filed a harassment claim with the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. So this goes to show his character. I mean, in one hand, okay, let's put it this way. He's an opportunist, but most of us are. You know what I'm saying? Most of us are opportunists when it comes to our workplace, right? You know, some are, depending on if it's a high-profile job, you might be a ham. or which means you in camera all the time or whatever, or you might just be like a kiss ass or whatever. He seems to be a ham, but on the second hand, he went against the grain when he fired them cops and spoke out against police brutality against quote unquote African Americans, American Aboriginals. Being that he Cubano, that he Hispanic, Caribbean Hispanic or whatever, it might be close to him, coming from Cuba, and the problems that went on there, and the harassment of Aboriginals on that island, the Negros, the Aboriginals on that island, or whatever. He might have a little heart for that, and I commend him and congratulate him for that. But you can also see his character here. We're showing new pictures of another officer that he's sleeping with, obviously just to anybody, which is stupid as hell. I don't want to put too many curses on this joint. I don't want to have to put up an advisory sticker. But yeah, so it shows his character or whatever. So he's down with, okay, so he's down with doing stupid stuff. So like I said, on one hand I give him props on that, that he's at least fair when it comes to the police brutality and don't want to be a part of that. But on the other hand, it does show his character that he is kind of shifty when it comes to doing dirt. So that's what it is, people. Stay tuned for more hard-hitting investigations from my Action News Network and stuff. And don't worry, y'all, I'm gonna trim my beard. I don't like putting metal to my face, religious, things, but I know I look bad, scraggly. But I'm the Wild Indian. It's actually Jack, and check it out. You know what I'm saying? So hold it down. So everybody, we can come to the conclusion: who is Arthur Acevedo? Number one, he's a ham and opportunist, but we have to come to the conclusion that most of us are when it comes to our work. So I can't really hold that against him, but just keep that in mind. Number two, from the reports and stuff that I've read today and seen, he seems to be anti-police brutality and have actually fired police officers who have been in misconduct and have killed without the proper threat assessment. Number three, he seems to have a good relationship with the quote-unquote black community. This is backed up by the Austin NAACP because of his actions during police brutality, which is more than you could say about other police chiefs around the country. Number four, he has poor judgment and he's a adulterer, but that makes him a regular man like the rest of us. So really, who am I to judge when it comes to that situation? But just a part of his character, keep that in mind. Now, Michael Bennett, I still believe that he's being socially lynched, because he spoke out about being profiled by that Las Vegas police department on syndicated news. It's embarrassing for the police department. Now he's being maliciously prosecuted by an overzealous district attorney in Houston. It's sad because this is a family man, with a wife and 3 daughters that he loves and cares dearly for, and just made a new career move to a really good team, the Philadelphia Eagles. And yes, he's a victim of racism by a biased Texas grand jury who felt that this crime warranted a felony conviction, which is completely asinine. Thank you for watching and staying tuned, and please hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for more hard-hitting investigation and journalism by Action News Network. Thank you. Good day or good night.